land of many lakes. Just back from New England, a couple of weeks, settled in. My, oh my, what a road trip that was. Fantastic. Covered 6 states in 2 weeks, 23 stories. So those will keep coming out until they're finished, probably another couple of weeks worth. And then on with the local stuff, which I'm already working on. Let's see if we get any folks. I'm going on a little early right now. Usually at 3 o'clock, then I said 2 o'clock, and now it's just before. Hey, Matthew, Happy Mac, Dawn Taylor, Acoustic G-String, Ashley's here. Ashley, I'm in your neck of the woods. How's it going? Yeah, I'm on a little early right now, even earlier than earlier planned. I got some stuff to do, but we'll get an hour out of this. Hey Sarah, how you doing? Brian, Zane, Priscilla, Marie, Moose is here, Moose Keys. Oh, we got a good showing. Love it. Roxanne from Terre Haute. It's Terre Haute, that's how it's pronounced, right? You should check out my Halloween stuff. You probably already saw from Terre Haute last year. Speaking of Halloween, guys, I've already got 3 episodes shot for Halloween, and we're taking it a step up this year. I am bringing in some more of, I don't want to say effects, but let's just say we're investing more in our episodes. And it is, again, more quality than quantity. But we're still keeping up with a lot of the quantity. Hey, Gary from Oklahoma, how you doing? Good to see you. All right, we got a couple hundred. When I see a couple hundred, I'm like, it's time to start walking. So I am in Wisconsin right now, and we'll just start with this little grave here. Council Bluffs, Iowa, how you doing? Yeah, I did a couple episodes there in Council Bluffs. Anne Marie, or no, it's not Anne. Who is Council Bluffs? Oh, Penny. Yeah, hey, thanks for the $5, Tammy, appreciate that. Jayhawks Mike is here. So look at this. This is 2 children we're going to take a quick look at here. Oh, you like the Benedict Arnold? Yeah, that was a good one, wasn't it? I really didn't expect to get the views that we got on that. It got a lot of views and a lot of positive feedback. Don't you love that history? Now listen, I've got one more coming out like that that's even, I think, even better. That's, oh man, it's got a great story. You know this, it's, is it pronounced Weymouth, I think? Weymouth? Any of you from New England? Any New Englanders here with us today? And I did the story of Miles Standish and the 2 Indian chiefs, well, the warrior leaders that he vanquished, that whole story. We go to their graves. I think that's coming up next week. So another epic old cemetery from New England. Weymouth. Okay, I got it. I think I pronounced it Weymouth. I think I pronounced it right, and if I didn't, then I'm certainly going to hear about it. Because man, if you mispronounce something, even with my accent, I hear about it. Jeep Girls from Colorado's here. You're getting rain? I hear they got a lot of rain in the Southwest, like Kentucky got. Not as bad, but I hear it's pretty, they really need it. Of course, I'm going to be in Arizona, and they got that big water shortage going. Yeah, Wisconsin, Dennis. Luna de Blue, thanks for the $5. San Francisco, yeah, I did one story there. I'm trying to get to San Francisco. It's actually one of my favorite cities, if not favorite. However, it's just, I don't have any plans to go there yet. Benedict Arnold, yeah, Cheryl's saving that for a special time. That's a good one. Hey, Kimberly, what's going on? Sorry, I'm a little early, you guys. A little earlier than earlier, but I'm gonna go golfing with my 2 sons. You know, I had that golf weekend last weekend, and now they're big time, you know, they're really into it. They're like, we want to golf, so gotta get them while they're into it. I think they're totally into it now. Hey, Ron, need to come to Princeton, Ontario. Okay, I'll keep it in mind. I do have Ontario on my list. There's one story that I really want to do there of a boy that I actually was a little bit involved with his story. He passed on. It's just a horrible disease he had, and it really just touched me. From Canada Waves, New Jersey wants you here. I think I was in Jersey when I was in New York. I went through Jersey. I actually stayed at the Holiday Inn Express in Jersey. Have you been to the Mormon cemetery in Omaha? It's cool. Oh yeah, I want to do that. I would love to do a Mormon cemetery. Yeah, New England was, is that a grave or a cottage? Oh, you want to see a cottage? Hey, Alicia Conrad, thanks for the $5. Hey, we're going to see a couple of mausoleums today. I'm going to tell you a very inspirational, epic story from here. We are going to finish at the other end of the cemetery at their mausoleum and graves. Good to see you too, Jimmy Malone. Jimmy. That's the name of our pet drone, you know. Jimmy was hard at work in New England. Almost every episode, Jimmy was flying. Hey, Debbie Butler's here. What's going on? How are you? We got a nice little overcast, nice day here in Wisconsin. My son's sons, they start school next week, and only one son is going to school. My middle son has graduated, and he's working in advertising. He's doing really well. But yeah, Nathan starts senior year this year. Holy caramba! Look at this. You want to see an obelisk? This is the obelisk of obelisks. Although Britain will tell you there at Rose Hill, there's one for, is it Wentworth? That's bigger than this. The biggest obelisk in Illinois, I think it is. One of the mayors, I forget his name. Hey Lisa, what's going on? So glad you are here too. New Jersey's in the house with Linda, who likes Wisconsin. Yeah, what the hell is that? Well, this is the, I'll show you the inscriptions. Some big shot, you know, always the big shot. Actually, this was a veteran of the Civil War, I think, this guy. And he was just kind of a big politician around these parts. Hiram Warren Conger and Ida Bull. You guys can look that. Now there's gonna be some good stuff for you guys to look up on Find a Grave and Wikipedia, because there are some notable graves here. But I'm gonna tell you a very, very inspirational story. You know, we don't just wander on these live walks. Well, sometimes we do. I guess we do most of the time, but I always like to try to find somebody really interesting. And we're just gonna walk along the edge, and a lot of this, there's the river we'll see. Cemetery artistry, how you doing? What do you got going? Did you make it to Salem, Massachusetts? No. You know what, and a lot of you guys know, I'm not into all the stuff that's been on YouTube that's been done over and over and over to nauseam. And the Salem witches, I'm just, what can I add? It's not intriguing to me. I like to find stories that people haven't told, and I like to learn new history. But no, I won't be going to Salem for this channel. And that is just, you know, nothing wrong with Salem, but I'm just not intrigued. And everything I do, I get really like pumped up and inspired and excited to go. Each of these stories. So if I'm not excited, like if I've seen it on YouTube over and over, I don't want to, it's not interesting to me. Although the story's very interesting. The other thing with Salem is they're not graves, they're cenotaphs. And I almost exclusively only do graves. Now, tonight, if you are gonna watch the Moby Dick, then you are gonna see a huge exception, only because I happen to be in the museum. And I was looking for, you know, Orson Welles in the pulpit at the beginning of Moby Dick, where he's, you know, that spooky Father Mapple, and he's giving that speech in that pulpit of the bow of the ship. And we went to a replica of that. Gosh, I thought it was the real thing. But anyway, there's the famous cenotaphs in the Sailor's Bethel. Wait till you see that. And it is the one that inspired Herman Melville. He spent a year and a half in New Bedford, guys. He spent a year and a half there studying all the whaling stuff, and that you're going to see the tablet that inspired the story Moby Dick, the actual marble tablet. And each of the marble tablets have stories. And of course, the cenotaphs are for those that did not come back, the ships that were lost to sea. And you're going to hear some interesting facts, things that I had no idea. Here's a veteran, William Raymond, thank you for your service. Jack Raymond, actually here in the middle. Hey, we're right by a golf course here. Look at this. I see a golfer down there. Speaking of golf, look at that. Let's get those clubs going. You should do a story on the Italian Hall tragedy in Calumet. Okay, I'll keep it in mind. Delaware, Ohio. So you guys getting a lot of rain there out east of me here in Ohio, Cleveland? I know I heard about the rain I heard about all the rain on the Southwest, and then before that it's Kentucky. Some beautiful monuments here, guys. Just walk along the woods. There's a real small cemetery in Oker Park on Oker Road, 1700s. Unfortunately, I'm not in New England anymore. I've been back in Chicago for about 2 weeks. I've got about 10 more episodes coming out from there. Hello, Ireland. Robert, how you doing over there? How's the weather? You having a good summer? Almost fell down a hole. Oh, this is getting really... I gotta watch my step here. Look at some of these sinkholes. Crazy. Here's a big one here. Wonder what's going on with this. Ooh, that goes way, way down. Something just collapsed here. Let's take a look over here across the street. Hello from Peoria. What's going on in Peoria? Pouring rain in Pensacola. Okay. Seems like pouring rain everywhere, I hear. A lot of pouring rain. Let's take a look over here. Kelly Wright says, I love your work. Thank you. What was the canon? Let's see here. James Buchanan, North Carolina. Okay, yeah, I'll have to. It's hard to read your notes, sorry. I can only read short notes. Charlene, where are you at? You need rain? Where are you at? Hey, from Fond du Lac, central Wisconsin, by the big lake. What's that lake called? I forget. The big lake by Oshkosh. Air show time. Did they do the air show up there already? I used to go to that. Hey, Ruth Tester, I see you're here. How you doing? What's going on? Prairie dogs. You got prairie dogs? Let's go. There's a mausoleum up here that looks really interesting. Yeah, Montana. Somebody mentioned Montana here. We need rain in Montana. I'm going to try and get to Montana this fall. I am going to try to get to Montana this fall. I've got some stories. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I think it's something where I'm going to fly. Oh, yeah, it's over. Yeah, that's what I thought. What's that big lake called? I used to fly my seaplane in there, my beaver. My de Havilland beaver. Jerome I. Case in Racine, Wisconsin. on threshers, which I think moves the groundabout for farming. I don't know, what's a thresher? I remember looking it up as I drove by, this Jerome Case guy. I think they've got his picture. Oh, Bachelor's Grove is just a playground for the paranormal people and lunatics. I really was disappointed with Bachelor Grove. I did an episode there, but yeah, I agree with you. There's nothing intriguing about it. Ursula Beliski made that famous, I think. She made that place famous. And I think she's the one who took that photograph of the apparition of a woman sitting on a monument. Please check this story out. I just sent you. Well, Kelly, send it to my email because I can't even get through all the comments. And if there's suggestions by Instagram or email is better. If you could, facesforgottentoday@gmail.com. Heavy storms? Where'd you have heavy storms? Oh my God, getting so many comments. A lot of comments. Any info on the plane? Yes, the airplane's been found, and we won't hear anything for another year probably, because the NSTB is taking it out piece by piece. I've only seen one picture of some of the fragments. So, thanks, Kimberly. It used to harvest wheat. Okay, yeah, well, that's the guy. That's the guy over here, that mausoleum. He's in there. He's the guy that did that. You like the Celtic cross? Mary Teresa, right? Yeah, if I see a Celtic cross, I'm always going to go over there. They're neat. Especially in Calvary Cemetery in Evanston, Illinois. That has a lot of them. A lot of Irish there. Chat going too fast for me. I know it's going too fast for me. It's got a lot of great people here and a lot of great input. We'll just do the best we can. Hi from Great Falls, Montana. So yeah, Moby Dick tonight. Who's gonna come with and watch? It's a 52-minute episode. It's a pretty long one. Welcome from Racine. Yeah, thank you. All right, who's Hugh Edwards? Family of Hugh H. Edwards. But I think these are a lot of the big Racine names. I don't know Edwards. 90 degrees in South Carolina. Boston Dawn is here. What's going on? $20 for cemetery artistry. Thank you very much. All to a good cause. Speaking of good causes, where are we at? So Joan Reinholtz is in, working on the ragged stranger. We'll say he's the unknown stranger. Also, Kimberly, you know, we might make some progress with the little boy in the boat, his mother. Right, Kimberly? We found out she is in fact buried there next to him. I don't know if it's the right or the left, but we are now trying to get family permission to buy her, because she is, I believe she's unmarked, right, Kimberly? I mean, I couldn't find her gravestone. I don't think I could have missed it. So, but you know, these things take a lot of time. Unfortunately, it'll take a year to 2 years. And Jennifer Lewis is doing her best in upstate New York for the Keller family. And we've got Jeanette Stevens, so we're working on that. They're all moving along. But I did get the biggest donation I've ever gotten. And it was $2,000, guys. And the person wants to remain anonymous, which I respect. I wanted to shout them out totally. But they do not want their names mentioned, and that's cool. One of us, our gang, it's a she, and I'm very grateful. We're all very grateful. $2,000 donation on PayPal a couple days, 3 days ago. I was like blown away when I saw that. Hi from Arizona. All right, Angie, let me ask you, are we getting water? Are we getting rain there? I know it's monsoon season, or was, or is, and we're way low on water. But I heard the the Southwest is getting pounded with rain, but is that like where? I didn't really pay attention. I don't know. Does that include? Oh, I hear a train. I mean, come on. What tour, what walk wouldn't be complete? Can you hear the train whistle? It counts. Let's go back this way. I like going by the older ones. Ha ha ha. People, they build fences around cemeteries because people are dying to get in. Oh my God. Ba-dum-bum. Roll the drum. Whenever I hear one of those comments, I do a little drum, a little emoji of a drum. Hey, from Green Bay, what's going on? Fresno, California needs rain. Did we get rain in Arizona? I'm missing the comments. Luna de Blue, you need to go to Waupun to see the Trails End statue. Is that a grave? Because if it's a grave, I'll go, but I don't do just statues and stuff. Go Packers. Man, oh man, I wish I could read. These comments are really going, yeah, I know, there was a hole that I just stepped over. Luckily, I was looking down. Flashlights, yeah, I didn't bring a flashlight today. Sometimes I'll bring a flashlight. Look at this ball. This reminds me of the witch's ball. Speaking of which, so I've got really 3 really good. I've got 3 Halloween episodes already shot that are actually in early production. So like I said, we're this Halloween, we're gonna step it up. Really, I'm not gonna have as many episodes, I don't think, like last year I went crazy. I think the whole month I was 10 or 12 Halloween episodes. But this year I'm gonna have less, but it's gonna be higher quality. Cooler stories, but the production I'm doing, you'll see, I'll surprise you, but I'm spending some cash with illustrators. You know, I'm not getting stuff off Google and images. You know, I'm creating all my own stuff now with illustrators. Like, I'm an illustrator, but I don't have time, but I can work with the illustrator to bring these images from my mind's eye, what I see. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to try it as an experiment for Halloween. All right, so I got a report here from Scottsdale. A lot of rain with monsoons, a bit too much at once. Yeah, that's the problem. But it's good though. We really got to film. Was it Lake Powell, Lake Mead? I've been watching YouTubes on that, and let me get some graves for you guys. You guys want to, instead of just pointing straight up, I'll try to get you some graves, some inscriptions. There's a cool old one over here. It looks like a veteran. Yeah, sorry if it gets fuzzy. It's, you know, we have a decent signal, but that's the problem with live stream. Comes in and out. We do have a train. Do you hear the horn? I love it. I don't know if there's any, oh, we can't read anything on this thing. Davidson with an EN. Here's a big block of granite. Mr. Ron, did you see the cemetery channel pushing cleaning headstones? No, I can't watch YouTube. I don't have time. Very little time to watch anything because I'm editing, producing. Unless I'm in the car, you know, traveling from locations, and I'll try. This thing doesn't even have anything on it, I don't think. Let me see what's on this side. Here we go. Just one name. Why did the smoker, oh, here's another bad joke. Why did the smoker go in the cemetery? All right, so I gotta tell you guys this really inspirational story. So you know, Racine, we're in Racine. So I was in Racine about 5 years ago to interview for a project with my advertising agency, Gravity Labs it's called. And we went to the headquarters of SC Johnson. You know, it used to be Johnson Wax because that's all they did at the beginning here in Racine. Small family operation. Late 1800s, early 1900s, they made wax products. And we went in there to interview against a couple of other firms to do some advertising work for a certain product, because now SC Johnson, you know, they're a conglomerate with a whole bunch of companies. And it was for one of those companies, the cleaner, the old lady, I can't think of it, but you guys might, it's like a natural cleaner. Anyway, we did a great interview, but they didn't pick us. They picked another company. And I guess that company loused up, from what I understand. But the point of the story is, we got to tour around the headquarters, and they have a museum. So I went in the museum, and there in the ceiling was the seaplane. And it was a Sikorsky, I think it was an S-38 it was. And it was a twin engine, you know, 1920s, 1930s vintage, one of those really old mahogany wood, like really crafted, like luxury inside. You know, where you have the cabin, it's all sleek, and then there's two engines, and it's a bi-wing. No, I think it was just an upper wing. Yeah, and anyway, I was like, wow, what's the story with this? And they told me that basically it goes back to, now the Johnson family, it was Fisk Johnson, whose father died, the second generation, I think, of Johnson died early. He was in his 50s, and the son was only like 28 years old, so he had to take over the company, and that was Fisk Johnson. So what he did, he was like the guy that took SC Johnson, or took Johnson wax. So the first thing he did is, you know, have you guys heard of carnauba wax? So that comes from the carnauba palm tree in Brazil. So he went on an expedition. He bought one of those planes at the Chicago Exposition, I think it was 1933. And in 1936, he goes on this expedition solo to Brazil, like flies across the United States. There's no airports, by the way, back then. That's why you had seaplanes. You could land on the water anywhere, practically. And he flies to Florida, Cuba, all the way down, hits the coast, Aruba, right? And goes all the way down to Brazil, and then flies down the Amazon. No backup plan, no GPS, no. And his mission is to find and protect the carnauba palm, because this is now what he's using with Johnson wax. And they're like big time because of this carnauba palm. So here, I'll flip it around. You don't have to look at me while I tell a story. So he finds these groves, or whatever you call them, in the jungle of these carnauba palms, and he transplants some of them to a location down in Brazil, and they set up a headquarters there, and he's like inspired. He wants to protect this plant. Now, the way the plant works is it has this super hard wax, and that's why carnauba wax is so good. And it's a natural product, because the climate in the northeast, you know, northeast of Brazil along the coast is just brutal, I guess, and dry. They have these dry seasons where everything dies, but the carnauba palm thrives. And actually, the carnauba palm looks kind of like those, you know, a large version of the dandelion, you know, not the yellow one, but what's the dandelion with all the little fuzzies? We go like this and they fly all over. It kind of looks like a Dr. Seuss tree. It's like this round bulb on this giant palm tree. So he's going down there and doing all this stuff, and it really inspired him. It reawakened him. It re-energized him, because he was going through a horrible marriage with his first wife, who was a kind of a little bit of a famous actress. We're going to see her. She's in the mausoleum also. Talk about her. She did a few movies. Her name, what was her name? Sarah. Her name was Irene Purcell. You can look her up on Find a Grave. And she was an alcoholic. So she had done like movies like Just a Gigolo in 1931, Westward Passage in 1932. She did The Crooked Circle in 32, but she was going downhill because she had some issues. So he goes down there and he's doing all this stuff, comes back, hey, thanks Teresa for the 10 bucks. And then he hires, anybody hear of Frank Lloyd Wright? So if you know the Johnson Wax building, the futuristic building, he hires Frank Lloyd Wright when he comes back. I think it was right when he came back, to do the headquarters, to do their home and their buddies. And Frank Lloyd Wright designs this unbelievable futuristic headquarters. It's still a museum today. And actually Frank Lloyd Wright, his design of that inspired the flying saucer, I think it was, of The Day the Earth Stood Still. So that's like another story we talked about. So all of this great stuff, but what's cool is there's a video you can go see that will tell the story from the son, his son, whose name was Sam. And Sam was inspired. Now his dad was like a world, how can I describe? Kind of like Lindbergh, you know, traveled the world, but not a bad guy like Lindbergh. And well, maybe with the women he was, but you know, he didn't spend a lot of time with the family and all that, but he left a note for his son before he died. After he died, the secretary gave him, he said, I hope you can, you know, I hope you can go there, follow my footsteps someday. So Sam takes his two sons. Now this is like in the, I don't know when, the 80s, whenever, and they go down there and they're looking for that airplane because his father sold that airplane to a guy who went to New Guinea and crashed it. So they like tried to find that airplane, they couldn't. So they built that airplane, that Sikorsky, from scratch. And you cannot, there's none left. So they flew that airplane down there and they retraced the whole journey, the father and the two sons. Now this video, I'm gonna put the link in after this downloads. And the story of these, you know, the way he retold the story and all the issues he went through in his life, all the tough circumstances. And I heard one of the most epic quotes that I think I've ever said. You know, he's talking about the love of his father. And this quote just really caught me, and it's in the episode, it's in the video. It's like an hour-long documentary. And it says from the son's perspective, as a son, shouldn't worry as much about meeting your father's expectations, but think as a father, fulfilling your children's expectations is more important. And man, when I heard that, and I just, wow, I said, wow. And that came from Sam Johnson, who is buried here. I'm not sure if we're gonna see his grave, but we're gonna see the father's mausoleum. I kind of scouted around for Sam's grave. I mean, you guys can help right now. Sam Johnson, if you go to Mound, it's Mound Cemetery, M-O-U-N-D, Racine. Go to Mound, find Sam, and see if they locate his grave. He's got to be, I could not find his grave, but he's got to be there. Because in the mausoleum, it's just the father and the actress wife. And all the other slots, I peeked in there, they're empty. What's up, Betty? How are you doing? How are you doing? So let's walk over. Let's head towards that. Let's head towards that house. So again, I'm at Mound Cemetery in Racine, Illinois. Cheryl D is here. Glad you made it. You'll have to go back and listen. I just told the story of S.C. Johnson, whose mausoleum we're going to. Frank Lloyd Wright has a college. Yes, actually there's a Frank Lloyd Wright story, a horror story from Taliesin. I think it was Taliesin up in Wisconsin. And I'm going to be telling that story at some point whenever I get up that way. He's in block 34. Okay, do this. Look up Fisk. Look up Purcell and Fisk. They're in the mausoleum. And tell me where he is in relation to the mausoleum. Now, if you look over here, if you look straight ahead, you're going to see the mausoleum. Herbert Fisk Johnson, and it was Samuel Curtis Johnson who we're looking for, who passed in 2004. He's the son who did this journey. Now, the video, I'm going to put the link in when I get back tonight, and I can get to the description box, or maybe I can do it in the car. I'll put the link in the video, but it's the video is called Carnauba, A Son's Journey. Carnauba, A Son's Journey. So if you just search on YouTube, you've got to watch. It's an hour long, set some time aside, but it will tug at your heartstrings, and it tells this whole story. And it only has 12,000 views. Can you believe it? 12,000 views. It's a hidden gem on YouTube. Hidden gem. So Irene Purcell, wife of Herbert Fisk, actress from the 1930s. It would be interesting to see her grave. But yeah, it's just such a cool story. Hey Tina, thanks. I'm glad you like the channel. I'm glad you like my stories. I love to tell stories. What are we looking for today, just for here? Well, we're looking for Samuel Johnson from the S.C. Johnson family. We found his dad, who was Herbert Fisk Johnson. We're looking for the grave of Samuel Curtis Johnson. Cheryl D. said that he's in, I forget what block, but I'm trying to see if, shows Samuel in the square crypt. Oh, really? See, I'll take another look in there. It's right up here. But when I looked in there, I only saw inscriptions on the crypts of Fisk and Irene Purcell, who is the actress. Let's go over there right now. Let's check it out. Let's get to the bottom of this. So you say he's in there? Okay. Thanks, Karen. All right. How is everybody? Cat Whisperers with us. How's it going? Okay, he's in block 34, big pink grand. Okay, so that's this. So he is in there. Okay. Now, before we go look at that, check this out. William Horlick. Now, if memory serves me, when I looked him up driving by, he invented malted milk, or malted shakes maybe. So look, there's a picture of William Horlick. Can't see inside, but that's the guy, the malt guy. Malted something. No windows, nothing to see. Okay, here we are. We are at the Johnson family mausoleum. Now, his father, Fisk's father, is buried in the ground, and I'll show you his grave. Hey, Carol, thanks. I'm glad you like my stories. Thanks, Ann. Appreciate that. Chocolate malted. Oh, by the way, I love chocolate malt. So Horlick is a man after my own heart. Right? Am I right? He's the malted milk guy? How do you invent malted milk? All right, so here is this whole story I just told you guys all about this family. Again, you must make a note to watch the YouTube video. It was done about 5 years ago. Only has 12,000 views, hidden gem called Carnauba, A Son's Memories, I think. A Son's something. Now, here is a relief of the Carnauba palm. And remember I was telling you it kind of looks like a dandelion? That's what they look like. Oh, darn, Darlene, it's really blurry. Bummer. Oh, thanks, Kimberly. You found it. Nice job. Everybody check out the link that Kimberly found. So unfortunately, you probably we're at the one part of the cemetery, there's not a good signal. So I'm going to point the camera over here just for the moment while I stick, so you're not looking at a blank wall. But I'm going to try and look inside here, but see, I see Irene Purcell and then Fisk, Herbert Fisk. So he must be, if he's buried in here, he must be on the other side. Because I can't see the names. How's the picture now? Oh, I was hoping this would be clear. I had a good signal when I started. How we looking, guys? Sunshine from the Netherlands, how are you doing? Glad you could make it. That's the crypt they show for Samuel. Okay. Yeah, okay, you know what, I'll try to move to the middle. So anyway, Fisk and Irene are on this side, and Samuel must be over here on this side. But there's some more over here. It's just a darn signal. Sorry, guys. There's just nothing I can do. Oh, Jack Best says it's clear. Okay, good. There's some people that say it's clear. Okay, that makes me feel better. Malted milk balls, Beth says. Yes, eventually that led to malted milk balls, that guy. And I love malted milk balls. Now, I love the Brock's malted milk balls. If we want to talk about, I'm a malted milk balls expert, and there are no good malted milk balls these days. They have too much chocolate and not enough malt, and you can't melt them in your mouth as good. So I'm very disappointed that Brock's does not offer malted milk balls anymore. Go try to find it, you won't. Okay, here is Henrietta. And Henrietta was 4 years old, it looks like. April 16th, 1927, March 30th, 1931. So she must have been the sister of Samuel, I'm gonna guess, 1927, because Sam was born, tell me, Sam had to be born around then, because his dad was born around 1900, who was buried in the, or interred in the mausoleum. And this is his father. I think he died in 58. And this is the second originator, second generation, as I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, of the Johnson Wax Company, now S.G. Johnson, now a conglomerate of a million companies. And this is his wife, Helen C. Johnson. Hello from Nashville, Colleen. What's going on? I was in Nashville this winter. Did some good Civil War stuff there. Do I ever run into people that wonder what I'm doing? No, actually. A few people drive by and usually they just wave. Or sometimes people just act a little weird. I had a guy, I didn't show him on screen, but he was trying to get my attention. It wasn't a viewer, but I just kind of waved him off. But no, usually, now I'm just like, let's see if there are any more Johnsons. I think that's it for the Johnsons. Christographs finally made alive. I mean, come on, how could you not make alive? You've been on my channel. Hey, Lorraine, 20 bucks, thank you. You've been on my channel like since we started. How could you say you haven't been to alive? Really? No, this is not Johnson. So we have the mausoleum over there with Mr. Fisk and I guess Samuel, and the only other ones, maybe they wouldn't be unmarked, but just these three here, right, in this family plot. Maybe there are other Johnsons. There has to be a host of other Johnsons in other spots. Malted milk ball experts, that's right, I am an expert on the milk balls. I actually did, okay, don't laugh. I did a taste testing of malted milk balls, because Brock stopped making them. So I went on Amazon and I bought all these milk balls, different kinds, to do a tasting, and none of them were any good. So I wish if Brock's hears me, which they won't. Helen Brock has long been dead. She's the candy lady that got murdered by the mob. The horse syndicate, actually. I told that story. That's one of my earlier videos. Helen Brock. Ooh, they got to put her body in the steel mills and made her disintegrate. Give Ron big likes. Thank you. So I got an episode coming out. I think I've got it scheduled for Tuesday with Tommy the Cat, who is a big guitar player. Sarah, $50. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very, very generous. Star Spangled is here. Cock robin. Dude, we had a cock robin right by my house in Niles at St. Adalbert Cemetery. If you go to the south corner of the cemetery on Milwaukee Avenue, that was cock robin. Darn right I remember that. That's too funny. You must be, is that a Chicago thing or Chicago suburban thing? Ooh, there's another cool mausoleum. Let's go that way. Oh, malted eggs. Yes, back to malted milk balls. And when I get a malted shake, I ask for 4 times malt, and it's still not enough malt for me. I'm a malt nut. So if, I wonder if Durwood is with us. Durwood gave me a great suggestion for a Titanic victim and a Titanic survivor wife that I did. I shot that, oh, you saw that Instagram I did a few days ago. Could you come to Washington State? Oh, I don't know. Someday I will. I do have a couple stories there, but it's just, you know, the problem is I wish I had clones. You saw him in the chat? Okay, good. Durwood, thank you so much for that suggestion. And you and I need to hook up soon. Miss you, brother. Durwood has some great suggestions. Good channels I watch or binge watch. I actually have enough videos you can binge watch now. Dead Good Walks is going to Titanic, one in Southampton. Oh, very cool. Well, that's where she launched, right? Headed to New York. Southampton, UK. That was the White Line, White Star Line, was it? The White Star Line. Oh man, what a story. You know, the big thing that sticks with me with that story is all the chivalry and the grace of the men and the horror of being ripped away from your families right on the deck, standing there. Wives saying, I want to stay, I don't want to leave my husband, and men throwing them in the boats forcefully. Wadowitz or Wadewitz. Doesn't look like we can see in there. This looks like a more recent granite mausoleum. Yeah, nothing to see in there. Lorraine loves Whoppers. Are we talking Burger King now? Have we switched to Burger King? Burger King has gone downhill, by the way. I think they just microwave their patties. I won't eat there anymore. I don't eat the fast food anyway much anymore. I can't even stomach McDonald's. I mean, as a kid, I loved McDonald's, but you know, even Wendy's, they've gone downhill. They used to actually be good. They're crap now, or am I just older? Yeah, Culver's, that's a real thing. Culver's has, you know, and hopefully 50 years from now, Culver's isn't going to be like Wendy's is now. Because Wendy's used to be as Culver's is now. Would you agree? You old farts that are like me? Baxter Springs, Kansas. Too much downsizing. Yeah, I wouldn't mind the downsizing if the quality was there, right? All right, so we're kind of getting into we're not into oh, all the gravestones are facing the other way. Let's go over this way. These aren't super old, but we'll talk a little while longer. Nolan just turned 33. Ha! If you're over the hill, then I'm like dead. Wahlburgers? I've never heard of that. Where's Wahlburgers? Whoppers have malted milk ball. Oh, you're thinking of, yeah, the Whoppers. It's not Whoppers. Aren't they Whoppers? Maybe they're Whoppers. I don't like those. They have a weird aftertaste. Sorry, I missed that part of the chat. So talking about Whoppers, I don't like the taste of those. They have some kind of weird taste. Don't you agree? Or do you like those? David Sanderson, St. Charles. Malt syrup is the best. You know what? I'm going to get some malt syrup on Amazon and just drink it. That's how much I love. I never even thought to do that. All right, Mary Teresa, see you later. We're wrapping up soon anyway. Thanks for hanging out. Whataburger. Hey, did you guys ever go to Fireman's Subs? When I was in Charleston, South Carolina, I ate there twice and I was blown away. Julie, like Benedict Arnold? Thank you. I've got another one coming out, I think next week, that even I think surpasses that cemetery and that story. You know, Benedict Arnold, I've been fascinated with this story because I kind of feel like, you know, it's one that I just picked up and sought out because it's the dichotomy of him. You know, the American patriot, I feel like he was rejected, he was never recognized, he was crapped on, politics, and I mean, that's not an excuse to go traitor, but then, you know, the story in the end that he put on his Revolutionary Continental Army uniform to die in was kind of put a tear in my eye. Now, you know, that could be folklore, that could be legend. Of course, somebody point out, oh, that's not true. That's really not true. Like, you don't know. I get a kick out of people making comments like trying to rewrite or correct history. I mean, I'll say, you know, 70% of this stuff is maybe correct, 30%, you know, and with the stuff on Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday and all that, that's probably only 50% accurate. So you just go with it, you know, just relax, because you weren't there. You were not there. You can't say this or you can't say that. You weren't there. I keep saying that. And they talk like they were there. It's like the slave episode. The Ashley, oh my gosh. I probably blocked 2,000 people just in the 500,000 views that, or 600,000 views that got, who all say she was raped and horrible comments, because that's their warped perspective. And yes, it was a terrible time, but we're telling history. This was a verified story, but maybe, you know, it's 80% right, I don't know. But to say that kind of stuff just shows you that people are out there is hateful, racists. You know, if you want to call them anti-white racists or anti-black racists, they're racists. And they want to spew their racism still. It's surprising, it's sad, there's so much racism still, I see it. So here's a beautiful monument, erected to the memory of the soldiers and sailors who served in the war, 1898, 1902. So it looks like the mayor's name is on here. Yeah, people are horrible. It's just, I've learned so much on this, doing this channel. This percentage of 1% really holds up in our society, that I believe that 1% of the, you know, 1 out of 100 people are jerks or evil. I've said it before. And it really plays out in the analytics consistently for 2 years now. What's the furthest you've traveled to another country? It's a good question. I think for the channel, I mean, I've traveled around the world, but I think I only started this channel 2 years ago, so it's really been in the United States. I'm gonna get out of the country next year for sure. I've got 2 locations I'm going to go. We talked about UK, we talked about Scotland, and there's one intriguing story I may do next summer, or actually the summer after, that is in deep South America that will just blow your mind, related to graves. I'm not going to say what country, but it's going to be an expedition, and it will be worth it because the story is just ridiculous. Ridiculous, like, not even going to give any hints. But anyway, hey Debbie, thanks. I'm glad you've been with us a long time. I'm really glad you have been loyal, and like a lot of folks here, we got a great group. I follow a group from Scotland, Lori says. Cool. Yes, that's a good point, Kimberly, because I said 1%, you know, the other 99% are just fantastic, and that's what really counts. That's what we need to focus on, right? But it's hard, you know, you can get like 100 great comments. I love your channel. I love this, I love that. I love the story, and then you get one zinger and it just, it's like somebody came in your house and crapped on the floor, I tell you. That's why I have no tolerance for this block, but you're right. Focus on the good. Oh, there's a woodman of the world. Let's go over that way. There's a big statue of logs. We are one big dark family, Sophia says. I would say we're one big dark morbid family. Thanks, Luna, appreciate it. Hopefully the picture's okay as we just plod along here, kind of into the center of the cemetery. Hey Angela, what's going on? How are you? Greetings from the Netherlands, Rolf. How you doing, Rolf? See you a lot in comments. Thanks for your great input. Rolf's one of the good guys, like most everybody here. Lorraine loves the channel, but you like to argue about things too. Oh, definitely. You know why? Because it's my channel. And if they don't like it, tough luck. Now look at this. Look at this. Frederick J. Asmus. 1865 to 1904, it looks like. It's a beautiful stone. With a tulip, I think. Is that a tulip, guys? Now look at this. Erected by the wood. It's got to be Woodman, right? Yeah, there you go. There's your Woodman of the world. I've learned so much doing this channel with you guys. When my first months, I didn't even know what the heck. I think it was in New Orleans where I learned what the Woodman of the world was. Now we're like experts, right? Which is your favorite story so far? Without doubt, the boy with the train who was buried next to the train tracks in South Dakota. Luna, that is by far my favorite story. It used to be hard to try to figure out. Now it's an easy answer. Thanks, Sandra. It's very nice comment. Horlick did not make malted milk balls. No, we know that. I said he was the inventor of malt, but we went off on a tangent about malted milk balls. So we know that. Thank you. I think it came in a powder form, as I recall. A lot of people, yeah. Mary, Lisa loved the Benedict Arnold story. A lot of people like that story. There's another actress buried here whose name is Doris something. If you look at famous people. Thanks, there's Durwood for $5 showing his face. That's the only way I'm going to see you, right, Durwood? Sorry about that. What's going on, buddy? Yeah, I'm right across the street from that cemetery that you suggested. I was actually driving out of that story and I looked across the street and I said, boy, this place looks really cool. And then I came in here, I'm like, oh, this is perfect for a live. And then I looked up famous people here and I saw Sam Johnson was here and Fisk Johnson. I'm like, oh, Herbert Fisk. And I'm like, holy cow, that's a story to tell. I remember, I knew that story from, you know, going to their headquarters and losing. Now the guy in charge now, his name is Fisk Johnson. And actually one of my friends, who's a chairman, this is going back a few years, is friends with him, and he was going to introduce me, but that never happened. But it would be cool to meet Fisk Johnson, because Fisk was one of the two sons who went on the epic retrace of the expedition. His father, Sam, went to retrace the trail of his father, Herbert Fisk. No, was it Herbert? Yeah, to Brazil in that Sikorsky seaplane. And it would be, you know, you gotta give a shout out to that family for appreciating history and their legacy. Thank you for your service, Robert Villman. War II. Aston 57. A lot of veterans here, guys. Another veteran here. Hopefully I didn't miss any flags down. I'll try to keep an eye out for the down flags, but they all seem to be taken care of here. That's a peace lily back then? Okay. Jesse, story time. Yeah, I told the story already. You'll have to go back, if you just got here, you'll have to go back and watch. I told the whole Johnson Wax, S.C. Johnson family, Carnauba Wax. Really neat story. You got to watch that video. Kimberly put a link up for it on YouTube. It's called Carnauba, A Son's Memoir, or something like that. I know it starts, you just search in YouTube the word Carnauba, or Kimberly put up, I'll put the link in later too, in the description box once this thing gets all processed and all. I hear sirens, that's not good. You know who they're coming for. Me. The men in the white suits. Thanks, Allison, for the 10. Thank you so much. And Angie for the 20 bucks. Very generous. All right, let's head over this way. Look at all the obelisks. Let's see if I see anything. We'll head to that biggie over there. Your adopted father was World War II Navy? Cool. There's not a lot of them left. Thank you, Angela, for the 5. Hyper Fox Trail, I mentioned to you about mounds about a year ago. Cool, thanks for doing that. Like I say, I'm only one man and a camera with hundreds of suggestions a month. I wish I had a clone, because then we could hit a lot of these. I can only like take so many stories in my notes. V Hinton, 5 bucks, thank you. That's right, Honest Dave, they're coming for me for sure. They are coming, well, they're like circling the cemetery now. I bet they're in the river in canoes. It's coming from the river, guys. See, instead of trains, now we have sirens. Ever think about chaining? What's that? Chaining? I don't understand that. What's chaining? Now here is a big monument here. Let's see who this is. No, that's where they're taking me, to the funny farm. You're right. I can't even read it. Let's look at this. How about getting in the shade? It's getting hot here. How's the wind? I'm trying to keep this camera pointed in a conducive direction. Thanks, Ann, for the 2 bucks. Appreciate it. Betty's out of here. See you, Betty. Hopefully I see you tonight. Hopefully we see you tonight. All right, what are we? We're just over an hour, so I've got to hit some golf with my 2 sons, and I'm gonna be out of here right now. So thanks for coming along on this walk. If you missed the story on the Johnson family, go back and listen. I'll put the link in to the video, and hopefully I'll see you guys tonight at the Moby Dick premiere. It's really good. It's a marathon episode, but I thought, you know, museum's pretty cool. Try to get it on your big screen, all right? So see you all later. Thanks for coming, and thanks for the